Today's story isn't about wood or nails, rivers or mountains. It's about something far more fragile and much harder to repair, a human heart. In a quiet mountain town, where mornings arrived slowly and evenings lingered in golden silence, there once stood an old wooden bridge. It stretched across a narrow river, connecting two sides of a village that had depended on one another for generations. Children crossed it on their way to school. Farmers carried baskets over it at dawn. Families met in the middle to greet each other, laugh, and continue on their way. That bridge was built long ago by a skilled carpenter named Elias. He was known not just for his steady, precise hands, but for his character. Elias believed that things built with care could last longer than anger, longer than time. For years, the bridge served its purpose faithfully, quietly holding the weight of daily life. It never asked for thanks. It only existed to connect. But time, as it always does, began to change everything. And anger, when left unaddressed, has a way of intensifying even further. Elias had a younger brother named Caleb. As boys, they were inseparable. They worked side by side, learned their father's craft together, and often spoke about building a future that would keep their family close. They shared meals, secrets, and dreams. In those days, it never occurred to either of them that anything could come between them. Then their father passed away. What should have been a time of shared grief slowly turned into a season of resentment. A disagreement over inheritance, small at first, grew sharper with every conversation. Words were spoken that could not be taken back. Pride replaced patience. Silence replaced understanding. Eventually, Caleb acted out of anger and built a fence straight through their shared land. It was meant to mark territory, but it also served another purpose. It became a wall between two brothers. From that day on, the bridge Elias had once built stood unused. People found other ways across the river. Grass grew between its planks. Wood cracked under rain and sun. Just like the bridge, the relationship between Elias and Caleb faded into neglect. Not destroyed in one moment, but abandoned over many years. 20 years passed. Elias grew old, his back bent. His hands, once strong enough to lift beams alone, now trembled when holding simple tools. Yet the heaviest weight he carried was not age but regret. In the quiet moments before sleep, memories returned uninvited. Laughter from childhood, promises never kept, words that still echoed painfully in his mind. One morning, a letter arrived. The handwriting was shaky, uncertain. Elias recognized it instantly. It was Caleb's. "Brother," the letter read, "I am sick and weak. I do not know how much time I have left. I wish we could talk even once before it is too late." Elias sat in silence, the letter trembling in his hands. For years, he had imagined hearing something like this. He had rehearsed what he might say, how he might respond. But now that the moment had come, fear filled the space where certainty once lived. Forgiveness felt heavier than anger ever had. That night, unable to sleep, Elias walked toward the old bridge. Each step creaked beneath him, echoing like a reminder of all that had been ignored. The river below reflected the moonlight, calm on the surface, deep and restless underneath. Standing there, Elias whispered to the darkness, "All these years I built bridges for others, but I could not rebuild the one that truly mattered." Something shifted in his heart. The next morning, Elias returned with his tools. Slowly, carefully, he began repairing the bridge. Plank by plank, nail by nail. Each movement was painful but purposeful. Some boards were too damaged and had to be replaced. Others only needed patience and care. The work was slow, and so was the healing happening within him. Days turned into weeks. Villagers watched quietly from a distance. Some wondered why an old man would spend his remaining strength on something everyone else had forgotten. Others sensed that this work was about more than wood. Elias never explained. Some acts are not meant to be justified. They are meant to be felt. When the bridge was finally finished, Elias stood at its center. The wood felt solid beneath his feet. He looked toward the horizon, unsure of what he hoped to see, yet ready for whatever might come. Then, slowly, a figure appeared on the far side. It was Caleb. He walked carefully, leaning on a cane. His hair was gray, his steps uncertain. But it was him. The brother Elias had not seen for decades was now crossing the bridge he had once helped forget. They met in the middle. For a long moment, neither spoke. Years of pain stood silently between them. Then Caleb's voice broke. "I am sorry," he whispered. Elias felt tears rise, uninvited and unstoppable. He stepped forward and replied, "I am sorry too." They embraced, their tears falling into the river below, carrying away decades of silence. As the sun rose behind them, the bridge glowed in warm light. It was no longer just wood and nails. It was proof that healing is possible, even after long neglect. Remember this. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it can change the future. Sometimes the bridge you rebuild will reconnect not only two people, but also restore peace within your own heart. Love, once lost, is never truly gone. It simply waits for courage to find it again. Stories like this matter because they reflect choices we all face at some point in life. Every one of us carries unfinished bridges, conversations avoided, apologies delayed, people we once loved but slowly learned to live without. Pride convinces us that time will fix these things on its own. But time does not heal what courage refuses to touch. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It is not forgetting. It is not pretending the pain never existed. Forgiveness is choosing to stop allowing the past to control the present. It is a quiet decision to lay down a burden that has grown too heavy to carry. Like Elias, we may feel too old, too tired, or too hurt to begin again. Yet healing rarely arrives before action. More often, it follows it. The bridge in this story did not rebuild itself. It required effort, patience, and vulnerability. Some boards had to be replaced entirely. Others needed careful reinforcement. Relationships work the same way. Trust may take time. Conversations may feel awkward at first. But every small step forward is a nail driven into something stronger than before. You may be wondering who stands on the other side of your river. A sibling, a parent, a friend, perhaps even a version of yourself you abandoned long ago. Rebuilding does not guarantee a perfect ending, but refusing to rebuild guarantees distance. The courage to begin is what transforms regret into peace. If this story touched something in you, take a moment today. Write the message. Make the call. Take the first step toward your bridge. And remember, it is never too late to choose connection over silence, compassion over pride, and healing over fear. Thank you for spending these moments with this story. If it resonated with you, share it with someone who may need the reminder. Leave a comment below and tell us who you would rebuild your bridge with if given the chance. Sometimes your courage can inspire another heart to begin repairing what was once thought broken forever. May this story stay with you, guiding your choices, softening your heart, and reminding you that forgiveness is a powerful, life-changing act. Always. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring English stories only on English Life Dailies. Forgiveness rebuilds what anger destroyed.